Hey Yashika, how you doing today? How's your day been?
I'm doing good. My day has been good, quite hectic as the major Diwali festival is coming.
Oh
So
wow.
we were busy in cleaning and decluttering and all the stuff.
Yeah, I bet that was amazing. I bet that was amazing. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Yeah, so
Hmm.
let the people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, Yashika.
So I am a homeopathic physician. I practice homeopathic medicine online and offline, and I am a relationship coach. I got into coaching because I was practicing homeopathy with a holistic approach. I wanted to heal my patients holistically, not just superficially. And the way to heal holistically is always through healing your emotions. And that's how I connected with coaching. I connected with this side of mine that I carry, that nurturing and guiding side. And I realized I carry it since childhood unknowingly. Like I have always been there for my siblings, for my friends, for even my parents, and for strangers. So I got certificated in life coaching and then I started practicing it. And recently, around a year ago, I niched down to relationship coaching because I feel our relationships, the way they are, they definitely affect a lot of other areas of our life. And I love to do this because I have seen myself grow a lot better when I improved my relationship with my own self. So the journey is still going.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting that you came through like homeopathy, like with the holistic approach, and you really brought that into your relationship coaching as well, keeping that holistic type of background integrated into what you do. Yeah, so I want to start by asking you, like, like we've all had different struggles in our previous relationships, right? And we've navigated through those, and we learn a lot of things through our previous relationships. What would you say some of your struggles have been in previous relationships, and how did you navigate through that to the place you are now?
I guess my journey of self-awareness began when I had bad ending of some very good friendships. Like in my college time, I had a very deep-rooted friendship with, three, four friends, and out of nowhere, they all got busy in their life, and that hit me that I was always, there for all of them, but I never took a chance to acknowledge what my choices were or what my needs were. And thankfully, that ending, it was very hard to accept at that time. But at the same time, I got in touch with some mentors and some guides who, guiding angels, they got me out of it. Like they didn't know I was struggling with that situation, but the experiences I had, like I started, studying with a different circle. Like definitely, I became open to become friends with other people, and then I got to know some other people through that, and that openness initiated a space for healing inside me, and
Right.
that's how I started growing. I focused all the attention on myself. And then I realized that, my relationship with myself is so complicated. I have always been a people pleaser. I have always been, like a go-to person for everyone, but I did not learn how to manage my own emotions. I've had a great childhood. I have had very great relationships. I haven't had any struggle during any relationship. But when these friendships ended, that created a space, a void I did not know how to fulfill. And that's when I got in touch with my own self and I started this journey. And since then, it's still going on.
Yeah, when we look back at like a lot of our childhood or like previous friends that we've had, a lot of people do grow out of these friendships and move on to different things. Do you think it's a similar case in relationships that people can get together but inevitably grow out of their relationship even though they are united together? What do you think about that as a possibility in relationships?
I feel it's very important to consider this fact that no relationship is going to stay same for same forever. Like, every relationship has two ends. Like the other end has their own world, their own circumstances, and their own situations. And those things are going to change them. Similarly, the things going on around your world will change you. You will evolve with the time. And with this evolution, both of your choices will change. It can be in friendships, it can be with your parents, it can be with your siblings, or, in definitely in romantic relationships. Things will change for both of you. The real struggle is when we are not able to adapt to those changes.
Right.
I feel there should be a room for that evolution in every relationship.
Yeah,
If you carry that space, like you accept that change very openly, then it is easy to move with it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it makes it easier to accept when the other side has different choices and you are aware of your choices. Then it is easier to get out of some relationships when you know that other person is not going to want or think about this thing in this way. I guess the awareness about our own self values will definitely help us navigate through that better. If we know what we want and if we know what they want and that doesn't align, it makes it easier to get out of it
yeah, yeah.
and accept that, yeah, it's not that kind of relationship with which we want to continue, or with which we want to rely on about our emotions or significant needs.
Right, right. Yeah. You did mention that along the journey, you realize the importance of being having to focus on yourself. And a lot of people do like focus on themselves, like especially in their professional career where they chase their professional career, sometimes to the detriment of their emotional and intimate life, where they focus so heavily on their career that they've now become detached from their intimate self. So for people or women that have chased their professional life because they're focused on themselves so heavily, and now they are wondering how they can bridge the gap between the focus on their professional life and their intimate life, and they don't necessarily know how they can find a balance in that. What is your viewpoint on that, and what ways can they navigate and finding a balance between their professional and intimate life?
This is the most important point where people struggle because they are it's just like a pendulum. If we stretch the pendulum to one side and we stretch it way too long for that, and if we leave that, it is going to just run in that other side where there is a big void, a vacuum. And when those things come, like when you feel a strong urge to have emotional needs satisfied and you want your relationship to be more intimate, but you are stretching on the other side, you haven't taken care of this side, that when this pendulum goes on this side, it creates a havoc. That's very significant point because it affects us, especially in case of sensitive people. It can be women, it can be men, but when you in that get into that space where immediately now you are back into those emotions and you want your needs to be fulfilled, you don't know how to do that. That definitely creates a mess in so many relationships. So to balance it out, definitely balancing is the key here, but balancing won't happen like giving instructions to the other side, like I want these things from now onwards. I didn't want intimacy since last 2 3 years, but now I want it. That is not going to um, make the other side comfortable. They won't know how to manage it, and definitely this gap creates space for a lot of difficult emotions because the other side is feeling that void. Maybe they had the need of intimacy or they created those efforts in those past 2 3 years when you were not ready.
Right.
And now their beliefs have changed, their mindsets have changed. And to get to a balance, first, I think clear communication is very necessary. Like, first of all, addressing that, yes, this thing is needed in our relationship, and acknowledging the fact that you were not there to support it.
Right,
It
right.
will be difficult, but it will be very important So that comforts the other side too, because the other side, they have waited for you. They want, to be acknowledged and appreciated for the time they waited for you.
Right,
And
right.
if you're getting into a new relationship, you should also address it right away that, I have been away from this love life for a while now. I have been away from this intimacy for a while now. So that they get a heads up that, yeah, this person needs some walls to be shattered, but one step at a time.
Right.
Immediately, if you expect yourself to be um, holy Mary all the time, it won't happen. It will be very messy if you do it forcefully. Just, okay, I'm getting into a new relationship, I will begin everything from scratch. The other side won't know, but they will know because you are so used to those patterns, it will be hard to break those beliefs. But being honest about it, that's, I guess, a foundation for next journey ahead. And definitely creating list of things which you want from now onwards, and then addressing what intimacy means for both of you. That will definitely make a difference. And I guess other major aspect of this will be quality time, not quantity time. If you haven't been in touch with intimacy and connection for a long now, and you immediately expect that in this new relationship you will spend your whole time with that person, that's not going to make a difference, because you will immediately start one person, you will immediately start treating that one person as your, center of the world. You will put them in the center of your universe. That will also create a habit. So quality time would definitely make a huge difference if you understand you know, what kind of activities do you both enjoy doing? How do you feel when you're with them? So these three things, I guess, are very important if you want to revive intimacy again in any of your relationship.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it also comes down to recognizing that the other person is a human too, and having expectations of them is not necessarily going to fulfill what you're trying to achieve, but recognizing that it's you that needs to bring something forth within yourself that they can resonate with, and vice versa. Like you said, intimate time and quality time without
Yes.
necessarily expectations, but allowing things to flow between the two of you. Um, like traditionally, like in relationships, there have been like gender roles where there's usually like somebody that tends to lead the relationship and another person chooses to follow that. But like, in your opinion, like, would you say that, let's say you're with a man that can make a plan for your life that you choose to follow, does that resonate with your spirit more, or do you feel more in line with yourself if you have a independent like structure to your life, independent of your relationship? What's your opinion on that in regards to gender roles?
I feel this is not a black and white area. Like, if one gender is leading one role and the other gender is leading other role, that black and white rules are not going to work anymore. So, like in India, I have seen like my parents and all the relationships around me since childhood. Like, husbands take care of the work and women take care of the house, and they balance it out. Where I have seen my father take advice of my mother. Like, I am going to do this. What are your thoughts on this? So that kind of balance is needed in every relationship. Like, I have been married for 3 years now, and I think if I totally become independent, I don't care what my husband is, doing today or what are his plans for the future. And just, carry around with my own plans. I don't want that kind of relationship. I want a relationship. It's a very important part of intimacy for me, where I share what I'm going through with my life. Like today, having this podcast, or I have just begun my coaching journey, and I do share my milestones with him. And although he's in totally different branch, he has like totally different like business and all. He has no mindset for like like he doesn't feel ready for taking coaching, but he appreciates me being a coach,
Right,
and he is pushing me. He is helping me grow in this. He's helping me, create some different methods for growing, and he gives me a good constructive feedback
right,
whenever I, seek advice. And it's a good thing to have uh, that energy, because, I feel it's about masculine and feminine energy.
right,
And masculine energy has its own pros and cons, and so does feminine. So if we try to, fixate it to like masculine or like gender, like,
mm,
he is going to lead and I'm going to follow, that is not going to work. So sometimes his masculine energy takes charge, and sometimes my masculine energy takes charge. I am feminine, I have more dominated feminine side. So I help that creativity, help his dominance, and we both, create a life together. And I really want to educate people around this. Like, gender specific roles have been, traditionally highlighted because people just understood the value of this masculine and feminine. It conventionally grew in male and female perspective, and then feminism and all stuff came in. So I really feel that the balance should be there. It shouldn't be 100% independent relationship. It shouldn't be 100% dependent relationship. It should be a balanced relationship where you are allowed to lead, and you are allowed to ask, and you are allowed to follow.
right,
That's
right,
by
right.
your choice and understanding.
Right. So essentially complementing each other, supporting each other's
Yes,
growth and enhancing your own strengths and letting your partner like help you enhance that and vice versa, essentially.
definitely.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Like when it comes to like human nature, like we go out all the time, we see different people, like we find different people attractive that we see every time we go out. So in the context of that, like what is your opinion on monogamy versus non-monogamy, bearing in mind that we do as human beings go out and see different people that we're attracted to all the time?
I totally follow monogamy. I haven't had that kind of thoughts for anyone else. I feel when you are in a deep connected relationship, you are more of a friends kind of, where you are like, this is my person. I want to do share everything. It's not like that possessive relationship where you only spend time with one person. You spend time with other persons, but you never see them with that angle. Like you don't feel any kind of attraction towards them.
Okay.
That is the funda for me. Like, I am totally with my husband. I haven't had that kind of thought with anyone, for anyone, whenever I go out or whenever I see someone. I feel like our relationship is so strong, and I wouldn't, like, I am not looking to fulfill something in my relationship through different other needs. And I won't say like it's because I'm in India, I have this mindset. No, I know people who are in long-term marriages and who have had, thoughts about some other people, about other relationships, and they have carried that, like, okay, just like a fling or a side affair or something. But I feel that is happening only because of one reason, that they are missing something in their relationship, and they are trying to find it in other relationships. They are trying to fill that void. In
Okay.
any case, whenever this kind of thing is happening, that means there are certain things which you feel that are not fulfilled in your relationship, and maybe you both agree, or you get aware of that by yourself, and then you make a choice. Like, I want this to be fulfilled, so that's okay if I, reach out to other people. I don't support it. I feel it is only happening because your relationship is suffering. So it's time to heal your relationship. It's time to address those hard questions. When we are not ready to address those hard questions or significant, things where we need to work on, we tend to move on to different objects and other people.
Okay. So, for people that are monogamous, that have chosen monogamy, but along the line, like you said, like there has been issue where maybe there's struggles within the relationship that has caused them to step out of the relationship, and someone has had a fling or stepped out of the relationship, and infidelity has happened. But now they're carrying around this sense of guilt about what has happened. They don't know how to share it with their partner, but they don't want to continue living in a relationship that's based on a lie because they haven't come clean. So, how can they now come clean to their partner about what has happened? And is there a way to rectify the situation, or is it just means that the relationship's going to fall apart? Like, how can they go about this situation?
I feel the first step is self-awareness. When you become aware, like why I did that and how much damage I have caused, and then realizing if, it was not much of a thing, but then consciously you take a decision that, yeah, knowing this thing will definitely affect my relationship and my partner. If I stop it right here, if I, end it right here and I um, move out of it immediately, if you can carry that kind of self-awareness with self-confidence, with that will the like I don't think you need to come straight away, honest with your partner. If
Okay.
you can, come away, come across this as a intelligent and wise person, where which we usually don't. I don't think anyone can does that. Because we carry so much judgment around us, and that will definitely create space for guilt. And for getting rid of guilt, we have to confront, we have to confess. It will create a difficult environment, but if your relationship has been strong enough, it will, pass the test. It will take time. It won't be easy. It will definitely take a lot of work. It will take a lot of conscious efforts from your side. I often say it as a like I often say like you have to put in love work, and it will need lot of love work where you accept yourself first, because it's very hard to forgive your own self, and then you make the other side aware that you know what they mean for you and why this happened and how this happened and to which extent it happened. You have to come clear.
Mm,
I definitely support being open towards, your bad actions or bad things, so that they become aware like, okay, you did XYZ thing, but you value this relationship. And
right,
now to heal it, you need their help.
right, right,
It's
right.
most scary thing. It is definitely because uh, in these times, it is easy to move on. It is quite easy to move on to conclusions, to move on to assumptions. Okay, this person did this one time or 10 times. I don't know. Getting on to assumptions is very easy. And
Right.
then, you definitely find sources to help you move on. If they cheated, I can cheat too. If they did this, I will do this too. So that is really hard. Like that makes it hard, because that will create that fear and that will definitely deepen that fear. Yeah, this is what I was scared of. And that story begins. But if you're very clear and you are aware in the beginning, okay, things will be messy, things will be messier to this extent, but I will be here. I will keep working on this relationship. But with this awareness, like, yeah, you know that this person will forgive you or not. You have to have that kind of intuition towards your relationship. You know when you are in that kind of relationship where you feel that, yeah, the other side will understand.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely takes a certain level of maturity of the relationship to be able to get through that kind of situation. So, if it's a relationship that's not based on solid communication, it will be very hard to come out of that kind. It'll be easy to make an excuse to break up and go about doing different things. But if it is based on something solid, then there is a chance to rectify that kind of situation. Would you agree with that?
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, looking at like the fact that you speak to different people as a coach, and like you learn a lot of things from the people that you speak to as well. When it comes to anxiety within relationships, what would you say were some of the main things that cause anxiety within relationships that you have come across from people that you have spoken to?
So I feel when you are anxious in your relationships, the first major thing is to work upon your relationship with yourself. How you perceive yourself is going to reflect in any of your relationship. When we have had a childhood where we have been, we have always tagged along, we have always, came okay with all the choices other people made for us. And it's hard to make any choice, by our own self, that will make you anxious in your relationship.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't know what you want and if you don't know what you don't want, that will definitely give um, chances where you will feel anxious around the other person. Because, sometimes you won't like to do it and you will still be doing it, and then you will become anxious. Why am I, not able to tell them about this? That
Mm,
will create anxiety. Second reason, that too about yourself, when you don't see yourself as good enough, when you don't see yourself as much, you don't value your own self, you will keep judging yourself like, can I ask them to do this for me? Do I deserve this? If they don't do something for you, you feel like, I'm not lovable, that's why they are not doing this for me. They must have done this for the other person, XYZ person. If they have had called for, I have been on this side. I
mm,
have been on this side where I have been a very um, self-conscious child, where I would always I was that good girl, which will
mm,
always, like, who will always say yes to everyone, who will always be, okay, yeah, I will do that, I will do this. And then slowly, slowly, I realized that, yeah, I am uncomfortable saying no. I'm uncomfortable expressing my choices, and that created space for anxiety in my relationship. And when I got aware of it, I can't tell you how confident I got. So that is one thing. So third point will be your insecurity about your own body image. When you don't accept your own physical structure as, the other side is doing, maybe they don't see you, with those um, XYZ characters, but you are labeling yourself like that. It can be your habits, it can be your physical features, it can be your values, it can be, again, lot of self-judgment. So I really feel that anxiety is never outside based.
mm,
Some trauma might have triggered it, some incident in your life or some bad experience might have triggered it, but the root of anxiety is in you. You feel conscious about that thing, that area in your life that is just highlighted in your relationship. And definitely comparison.
mm,
Comparison is also causing a rise in anxiety in relationships. When you see other people do the same things which you are struggling with, you feel anxious. You feel like, again, self-judgment. You again create space for more self-sabotage, where you keep blaming yourself. Yeah, like, you cannot, again, I am not having that kind of thing in my relationship because I am like this. Because, or comparing your partner with others, that comparison will also create anxiety. If you keep comparing them with other people, like, they are not doing XYZ thing according to you, and you see other people doing the same thing for their loved ones, you will keep feeling anxious. Instead of creating space for love in your life, you are creating space for comparison. So that will also increase anxiety.
For sure, for sure. Like it definitely comes down to being able to create that self love within yourself before, like, expecting anything from anyone else. Like you did mention, like past traumas that might cause people to feel anxious. But also, when we focus on those past traumas, we do tend to amplify the level of that anxiety and make it 10 times or 100 times greater just by the focus on it in that kind of
Definitely.
sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Yashika, thank you so much for coming on. It's been wonderful speaking with you. Thank you for everything that you've shared. Where can people find you, find out more about you, and find out more about what you do?
I am most active on LinkedIn with Dr. Yashika Basandrai. This is my handle name. I am also active on Instagram with the same name. And I have my WhatsApp number mentioned there and my email ID is there. If people like to follow me, they can. You will share the link and all. That will be nice.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It
And
was
for
really
the
nice to connect with you, Bear.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. And for the viewers, all of that information will be in the description, so you can get in touch with Yashika. Yashika, once again, thank you so much for coming on. Any final words before we end the session?
I really feel that the relationship with the which we share with our own self is the root of all the relationships which we create and have. So I really wish that people work on their relationship with their own self more and work on self-awareness as much you can because it's going to help your relationships multifolds. So happy healing. That's my tagline because
Excellent.
healing never stops. It's just happening all the time.
For sure. Excellent. Thank you so much, Yashika.
Thank you, Ben.